morning, Year 3. Happy Monday. I hope you had a lovely weekend and you are ready to start our next English unit. Like I said on Friday, we finished our traditional tales unit now. We finished writing about the true story of the Three Little Pigs, and we're now going to move on and have a little look at poetry. Now, we've done poetry before in Year 3, where we were looking at limericks. So let's have a look at what poems we're looking at for our unit this time. Okay, so as always, please jot down your date and learning intention. It is Monday, the 8th of February, 2021, and your learning intention is to write a poem, a haiku, tanka, or kenning. Be careful on your spelling of February. There's a bit of a tricky bit in the middle, so just be a little bit mindful of that. Once you've done that, we will start our starter. So you are going to make a list of words using the last letter of the last word to make a new word. It sounds confusing, but it's not. So for example, my first word was gate. My last letter of the word gate is an E, so I wrote eggshell, E-E. My last letter of eggshell is L, so I wrote Lima. My last letter of Lima is R, so I wrote rainbow, and so on and so on. Have a go at writing down a real range of vocabulary here, thinking about syllables. Remember, you can clap the word out. Thinking about a real range of topics. So later on in the week, we will be using some of these words to help us with our poetry unit. We might need some ideas of some different words with some different syllables in it. So use this time to have a little think about what words you might pop down. Okay, I'm going to move on now. So if you haven't finished, pause the video here and unpause it when you are ready to carry on. So in our learning intention, it said to write a poem. Have a little bit of quiet time, have a bit of reflection. What is a poem? I've already said we've looked at limericks before, but generally, what features do we have in a poem? Are they pages and pages long? No. Do some poems rhyme? Yeah. Some poems don't rhyme. We've got different lines. We don't often have sort of sentences with poems, do we? Where they're quite short and they can be written about a range of topics. And we are going to be looking at haikus, tankas, and kennings. Now, I wonder if anyone has heard of haikus, tankas, and kennings before. You might not have, and that's absolutely fine because we're going to be looking at the features as the week goes on. Okay, we are going to start with a cold spell now. So get your pieces of paper ready and let's have a go. Some of these words are quite tricky, so just do your absolute best. Okay, your first word, poem. Poem. Your second word, haiku. In fact, what I might just do, just because I've just spotted something, I'll just cover that up. Okay, haiku. Your third word, tanka. Tanka. Hopefully you've just written these down, so you might have a bit of an idea already. Your fourth word is kenning. Another type of poem we're doing this week, kenning. Your fifth word, now this is a tricky one, syllables. Syllables. How many syllables in a word? Your next one, theme. What is the theme of your poem? Theme. Okay. Next one, pattern. Is there a pattern? The next one, perform. It is important to perform poetry. Perform. The next one is season. Some poems are written about the seasons. So season or seasons, whatever you want to go with. And the last one, number 10, is line. Which line is that on? Or how many lines have you got? So I'm going to reveal the answers now. So if you wanted to pause the video now so it doesn't give them away, please feel free to do so. Now, remember, don't worry if you didn't get all of them correct. It doesn't matter. These are the words and you just need to focus on as we're going through. So I've got the correct spellings there. Have a little pause, mark your work, give yourself a tick and a mark out of 10. Some of them were quite tricky, so don't worry. They will be your target words for this unit. Okay. Pause the video. I'm going to move on as you are marking. So here is an example of a tanka poem, and it's called Summertime. Kids in the summer, running, jumping and playing, biking in the neighbourhood, yelling loudly down the streets, not ready for school. I'll read it again. Kids in the summer, running, jumping and playing, biking in the neighbourhood, yelling loudly down the streets. Now I'm just going to change that spelling, just as I noticed that that's the American version of spelling it, so I've just changed that now. What do you notice about this? Think about how many lines it's got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Is there a certain amount of syllables in each line? Does it rhyme? No. Okay, so that is a tanka poem. Haiku. Fresh air after rain, wet branches drip heavily. The soil is refreshed. Fresh air after rain, wet branches drip heavily. The soil is refreshed. Do you notice anything about this poem? How many lines has it got? Again, how many syllables in each line? They're the two things that we're going to be predominantly looking at, syllables and how many lines it's got. Okay, and the last poem is a kenning. So we've got sun stealing, night stretcher, cold maker, snow faller, face freezer, Christmas bringing. What do you notice about this poem, about kennings? You can see, hasn't necessarily got many words in each line. There's a special bit of punctuation going on in the middle there. Okay. What you're going to do today is you're going to write a poem. Now, if you already know what a haiku, tanka or kenning is, brilliant. Go and have a little go at writing it. If you're not sure, you might want to just write your own poem. You might want to think about maybe rhyming couplets that you've done before. Have a go though, because I have given you some examples here. You might be able to have a little go at thinking about what you need to do. Have a try and try your best. Once you've written your poem, have a go at performing it. I'm going to play a little video here that can tell us a little bit more about it. So I'm just going to stop sharing, pop up the video, make sure you can hear my sound. So let me share my screen again. And let me make sure my sound is on. Okay, have a little watch of this.
What I love about poetry is that you can perform it anywhere. There are performance spaces all around us. In the bedroom, in the playground, on a balcony, even from outer space. Through poetry, I get to play with words and experiment with how I say different things. Sometimes I perform a poem loudly. The war drums boom and shake the metal from the land. Sometimes I perform a poem quietly. The tiny mouse peeps and creeps as you sleep. Sometimes I perform a poem quickly. Fantastic fireworks fizz with fiery flame. Or slowly. I was at the end of the race, about to cross the finish line. Or mix it up. The rain was pattering. Then the thunder boomed. The lightning zipped, zapped, snapped. I was drenched to the bone. When I'm performing a poem, I like to think about the tone of the poem. Is it a happy poem or a sad poem? Is it an angry poem or a confused poem? Thinking about emotions in this way can help make the meaning of the poem more easily understood by making the tone clear. The grey clouds wept, a bucket of rain down on me on the stone grey streets. Sometimes a poem is written in the actual voice of a character, and if so, I will think about what that character might sound like. I am the troll that lives under the bridge. I eat all manner of things. I once ate a fridge. As well as using your voice, you can also use your body when performing poems. You can perform a poem sitting. My granddad's chair was a big, leather, dusty thing where coins hid down the cushions. Or even laying down. Gazing up at the winter sky, I saw the snowflake form. You can also use actions. Your body can help bring a poem to life. Instead of just hearing the words, a body can help an audience see the world that the words create. I often learn a poem off by heart to free up my hands, using simple actions and gestures to highlight certain words and phrases. I crept past a tiger, ran up a mountain, leaped over a canyon and landed in a swamp. It's always lovely to notice the positive in a performance, to focus on what you noticed, what stood out, what made you smile, and what you remember. Sometimes when I perform a poem, I run out of things to say about the poem. I find it helpful to keep a list of words nearby. Words like interesting, dynamic, exciting, thrilling, emotional, hard-hitting. Growing up, I used to love putting on a show, but it took me a while to realise that you can put on a show with poetry just about anywhere, using all your acting skills to entertain friends or even tell someone that you miss them can be a whole lot of fun.
Okay, so your task today is to write a poem. It's a cold task. So I haven't done much scaffolding here, and I haven't given you a shared write because I want to see what you already know, and then have a go at performing your poem as well. Have lots of fun. I can't wait to read your poems and see all your different ideas and see how creative you all are. Have fun. Bye.